Hey cakey people, welcome back with some more Valentine's content for you in the form of this ombre cake. So we're going to start out by making a cake batter and splitting it into three. We've got a light pink, a medium pink and a dark pink. We're going to bake those and get them all nice and levelled up here. Okay, so using my trusty Agbe here. If any of you are really eagle-eyed, you'll notice that I did this once already and I've just placed them back over the top because I'm an idiot and I didn't press record. So yeah, well done if you spotted that one. So now we're going to stack them up. We're starting with the with the palest one on the bottom. And we're just putting a little bit of buttercream on the plate. We've got a ganache plate under here as well as a cake card. The ganache plate is 0.25 inches larger than the size of the cake. So this is a 6-inch cake and I've got a 6.25 inch ganache plate. If you want to see how I prepare my ganache plates, there is a video on my channel of how I do that. So go check that one out if you need help with that. Now we're going for the medium pink in the centre. You could split these into 6 as well if you wanted to. I only made this cake for this video, so I only did it into 3 because, to be quite honest, my husband doesn't care how many slices of cake are inside. So I'm filling it with a nice red buttercream. This is just a vanilla cake. You could do any flavour you wanted really, other than chocolate, which obviously wouldn't work. So popping the top one on there and we've just smoothed the joins. Now we're just going to quickly crumb coat it, not any other word, crumb coat it and seal in all those crummies because we don't want them messing up our final finish. Smoothing it around there with the angled spatula and getting it all nice and tidy. So there we go. I've just used the pale pink, it doesn't really matter which one you use. I did match my colours according to the ombre for the end on the edge inside. So the bottom tier, the bottom layer has got the paler pink on it, the top one has got the darker pink on the outside. I didn't go to the edge with the red because it might show through, we don't want it to show through. So we're going to start by measuring out our lines. This is a nifty little tool. I've had this quite a long time from Wilton. So gauging how big each section needs to be there with these little pins. And then what we do is we put them up against the cake and we roll it around really gently. And it puts us some lines on there. And it's really handy to guide us and make our sections nice and even. Sorry, my dishwasher is open behind me because it finished halfway through filming and I didn't have time to empty it. So I'm sorry about that. So yeah, just going around the bottom with the paler buttercream. So I made 3 lots. I made a really pale one to match the bottom layer. I made a medium one and I made a darker one. I did slightly more of the darker one because that also needs to cover the top of the cake. So bear that in mind when you're splitting the buttercream up. This is quite a firm buttercream. The recipe for it is posted down below for you. And I did also add some meringue powder. That is optional, but it is something I tend to do when I'm covering the outside of a cake, especially if it needs to travel. Like I say, this one doesn't need to travel, but if it is, I would definitely use the meringue powder. So we're getting that all nice and even. Like I say, this is quite a firm buttercream. I didn't put too much milk into it and it did sit overnight as well. So that does firm it up a little bit more. So making sure we get it all around the top there, and then we're going to use a warm spatula, not wet, just warm, angled spatula to smooth the top flat and get rid of any imperfections. And then we're going to pop another ganache plate on the top that is covered with something called press and seal. If you're American, you'll know exactly what that is. If you're British, you might not know, but you can get it on Amazon. Again, it's in my videos of how I prep my discs, and I will also link this for you down below. It's sort of like, if you're British, it's sort of like a cling film, but not quite. So now we're going to smooth it off. And there you can see those beautiful ombre lines coming through. And this bench scraper is warm, not wet. Okay, just warm. And we're going to give it a good few passes to get it nice and level between the 2 discs. This is a fine art and it does take a while to get used to. And I really, really need to stop biting the inside of my lips when I make videos. That's something I need to work on this year, and I'm sorry about that if you're having to watch me do that. Okay, so giving it a good pass round a good few times. See a few little air bubbles coming through there. That's my fault for not beating my buttercream. What you need to do is beat it, and then you need to use a spatula and push it against the side of the bowl before you colour it and stuff. And now what I'm doing is I am using a slightly damp bench scraper. It's damp with warm water, not wet, just damp. If it was wet, you would see wet on the bottom board there, and there isn't any damp on there. It's just slightly damp to aid a slight melting of the buttercream, which fills in those little air pockets that we've got on there and gives us a really smooth finish. You know, if you've watched any of my other videos, you'll know I'm a bit obsessed with getting a really smooth finish on the cake, especially when you're not covering it with fondant or anything like that. You want a really smooth finish. Okay, so we're just giving it a couple more passes across now to make sure again that it's really, really smooth, leveling it out, getting it perfect between those two discs. If you do find any imperfections, you can go back and fill it in. Obviously, just ensure you use the correct buttercream. I love how the lines came out and how they're just this slight difference between all of them. But there you go. And then this is going to go in the fridge for 15 minutes. And now we're going to flip it over upside down to take that bottom disc off. We're also going to put our board on at the end for this as well. These are just secured with tape. Again, check out that other video for how to prep your boards if you're not sure. I'm going to use a knife to run between the bottom of the cake and the ganache plate, leaving the cake card in place underneath. You'll see that white card pop through there. And then we're popping some buttercream on, which will smooth out with our angled spatula. I'm using a nice pretty gold board. I'll link those down the bottom for you. Okay, smoothing that out and then popping it on. And then we're going to flip the cake again. This is a fine art, and you can find some videos of me doing this in slow-mo on my TikTok. I'll link that for you down the bottom as well. And then we're going to take that top ganache plate off with the press and seal. So we just release the plate from the press and seal first. And now we are doing our drip. Now I've done the drip with a candy melt thinned with Trex. And I'm only going around the edge for this drip. So putting a few drips on and then filling back in the gaps in between. I went for a wider gap today than I normally do. So we're just finishing that off nicely. And then I'm using a hot spatula to smooth it off around the top just to make it nice and flat so we've got no bumps. And then we're going to pipe some nice piping on the top once we've put a bit of a ribbon around the bottom of the cake. It's a 5mm ribbon that I've gone for in this one because it's not a terribly tall cake and I thought it looked really nice with the cake. And then I just secure it in place on the back with a glue dot. So I've used the leftover buttercream from the sides for this and from the inside, and I used my rainbow technique that you'll find in my other videos. So if you look up my rainbow cupcakes video, you'll see how to make the rainbow buttercream. It's exactly the same method, using the cling film, wrapping it up inside of a piping bag, and then using this tip. I think this is a 2D, but I'll link it for you down the bottom. Makes really nice swirls. So to do these, I do one and then I go completely opposite at 180, and then opposite again, so you've got 4 on the 4 points, and then fill in the 4 gaps. Okay, so then we pop one in the middle, and I'm just smoothing it down with a bent spoon. Best tool for the job. I like to do it after because I only want it in the gap in the middle. I don't know why I bothered doing this bit, so I'm going to cover it in sprinkles in a minute, but hey ho. So I'm going to pop some sprinkles in the middle. This is a mix I got on Amazon. I'll link that for you as well. Okay, and these are my little storage boxes. I pop the dates on, the best before dates on these little boxes. It's just really handy to have them like that. And then we're going to put a few sprinkles on top of the swirls as well, because why not? Sprinkles are everything as far as I'm concerned. Okay, and obviously they're all over my floor now too. Okay, and we're going to pop some gold macaroni rods on there as well, because honestly these are pretty much my favourite sprinkle at the minute. I can't get enough of these. I put them on everything. If you watch my videos, you've probably noticed that. But hey, that is my prerogative. So there we go, there's some macaroni rods on there. And now we're just using another sprinkle mix. I'll try and link this one for you as well. This is one by Happy Sprinkles. This is actually a Christmas mix, so I'll see if I can get it linked for you. It's got tiny 1mm pearls in it of red and gold, and they looked really nice with the colours of the cake. Okay, so now we're going to put some sprinkles on the outside. I ran my steamer around my cake very, very lightly to enable them to stick. Okay, so I popped some macaroni rods on there, again, favourite sprinkle, love these sprinkles. And I popped some macaroni rods, and I also popped some of the mix in there that I put in the top as well. So I'm just going to speed this little bit up for you because you don't need to watch me apply sprinkles to the side of a cake. So here we go, super speedy sprinkle application, going all the way around, making it all nice and even, but again, a really random pattern. And then we're going to pop our topper in. Now this is a topper I sourced off eBay. I'll see if I can link a similar one for you from Amazon, because that's where I get my affiliate work from. Okay, so there we go, all done. I hope you like the little thumbs up at the end there. And I'm just going to show you it cut in a moment as well, because I could do that because this one wasn't a client order. So here we go, nice clean knife, nice smooth action all the way down there. It was quite well set at this point, so it took a little bit getting through those sprinkles at the top. I wiped the knife in between as well, so that you don't get any drag on the knife. And then here we go, pulling out that nice tall slice. It's roughly 6 inches tall. There you go, there's the cake guts for you. That is the best view. So there you go. There you have it. That is a Valentine's ombre cake with a red filling. This was a vanilla cake, but obviously you can make any flavour you like. It was totally yummy, and we're all enjoying it now. So happy Valentine's, and if you do have a go at it, please tag me on socials and such. I'd love to see what you guys do, and please come back for more videos. Please subscribe so that you can be notified of all my new videos and posts. Thanks guys, bye.